Hey guys, welcome back into the channel, and if you're new here, welcome in for the very first time. Please feel free to get cozy. Apologies, this voiceover is being recorded far later than I actually would have liked, but I was away in London for a TCG event over the weekend, so now I have so much catching up to do. Also, I have a job interview tomorrow and another one on Monday, so I am busy. But hey, we persevere, that's what we do. We've got another game to add to the journal today, which is very exciting. It's interesting, I feel like I've played nowhere near as many games this year so far as I would have liked, but I've spent way much more of my free time reading instead, which is maybe a sign that I'm in my book girly era. Honestly, I wouldn't complain about that. I feel like I've slowed down slightly as the month has gone on, but I am still way ahead of schedule for my overall goals, so no complaints from me. We're adding a game that, unfortunately for me, I'm not classing as one for the backlog. The reason for this is that I bought it literally right at the end of 2025, specifically so that I could play it this year, which I shouldn't have done. I should have just waited and added it to the collection later, but hey ho. It's a game called Strange Antiquities. I picked it up on Steam, and it's a really funky little puzzler that unfortunately means no addition to the genre page. I finished this on the 8th, so it took me a little over 4 days to complete. However, I didn't go back and pick up any achievements I'd missed, so I could have spent way longer on it if I'd really wanted to 100% it. This technically completed a gaming challenge for me, as it's the second game in the series, and I played the first one right at the end of 2025, but that feels like a cheat, so I won't add it in. I really should have just waited and played both this year, but I was too impatient, and I have no self-control. When I recorded this, I spent ages rambling about this stupid calendar, so let's just do a cheeky fade to black and get into the good stuff instead. There's actually so much jump cutting in this episode because I was chatting while I recorded and I yapped so much. I have these new stamps that I'm going to use for the challenge pages, and I went on and on talking about them, but there's no need because I won't be using them until the end of the month update, so I just had to cut it all out. So let's talk Strange Antiquities. It is the second entry into the Strange series from Bad Viking. It follows on from their super popular Strange Horticulture, released back in 2022. The premise for both is pretty straightforward. In Horticulture, you are the owner of a plant store in a gloomy town, offering a myriad of plants to the locals to ward off curses, cure ailments, and generally help or hinder fighting evil. In Antiquities, you are the custodian of an antique store, dealing in the occult, in, you guessed it, a gloomy town. In both games, something dark and mysterious is afoot, and your offerings to the locals will go a long way to help drive back an otherworldly presence that threatens to destroy the town. Throughout the game, you'll find and identify artifacts, using different books and tools at your disposal to correctly offer what each customer needs. There are a ton of hidden areas, multiple maps to explore, and a bunch of interesting characters, most with strange or sinister backgrounds. There's also a cat, and yes, you can, and absolutely should, pet them. Through various letters and journal entries, we discover a lot of backstory about the town itself and many of our characters. The quote I chose for this entry is one from those journals, and I think it kind of gives a good indication of the type of puzzler you're dealing with. 1. A part of his mind was not his own. And 2. The casket wanted to be opened. First off, I just want to shout out the art style for being absolutely glorious. It's not fancy, it's just really clean 2D with a lot of detail into the different artifacts and a backdrop that really kind of screams Lovecraft. I'm a sucker for simple design, and this hooked me pretty quickly as a result. The sound design, also really, really good. The atmosphere within the shop is peaceful, with a sense that something dark lurks outside. Think cozy log fire, but a serial killer is waiting right outside the door. The sound design is used well. It builds suspense and it gives the whole game a supernatural, haunted vibe that I loved. There's a lot to really enjoy here if you're a puzzle fan. While I also really enjoyed horticulture, I thought that there could have been improvements made to the overall UI and to some of the searching mechanics. While I didn't want the game to hold my hand, I did think it had a punishment system for failure that was a little too harsh. It also had certain instances where if I didn't complete something earlier in the game, either by accident or because I needed more time to think on a puzzle, I would be almost guaranteed to fail later on as a result. With Antiquities, there have been a ton of improvements, both to the overall experience and to smaller details like artifact finding, alongside a wider range of resources to help you figure out each puzzle. This, I thought, provided a really good balance of difficult puzzling, but with more leniency for trying different things. In both games, the number of items you stock is fairly large, and each item is detailed in design with some cool lore attached. I appreciated the addition of a gemstone book and a symbology book to really add flavour to the overall experience. Also, the search ability is so much easier in this, and it definitely helped keeping track of things I'd already identified. The game features branching storylines and a multitude of endings depending on how you offered help at key moments throughout the game. After finishing each storyline, you'll get a final screen that shows everyone who lived and anyone who died, as well as giving a bit of an epilogue to tie everything together. There are a bunch of different endings depending on what choices you make throughout the game. Some of those are fairly obvious, and some not so much, so this provides a real replayability factor that I appreciate in any good puzzler. So this is a definite play for those of us who enjoy the arcane, the occult, and something a little bit mysterious. It doesn't hold your hand, it provides you with a lot to figure out, and feels really rewarding as you fill up your shelves with solved artifacts. This didn't quite hit 5 stars for me, but it was close. I'd say stick it on your wish list and make sure you give it a go in those spookier months. It's the perfect cozy mystery for a long, dark night. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. If you've played either of the Strange games, I'd love to know your thoughts, so you can leave them down below. If you liked today's video, please consider hitting the thumbs up button, and if you want to see more, you can always subscribe and turn on notifications so that you won't miss a single entry. I'm almost through with January's stuff, I promise. I've got a whole bunch of recording to do before the weekend, and I hope to get the rest of those, plus the February update that I know is super behind, up very, very quickly. So I hope you had a great rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one.